Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Samuel Leggett here, representing Team JVS, here to give you guys another movie review for TIFF 2022. The name of this film is called This Place. The backdrop of it is you have two people in love. One is named Malay, and the other one, I'm going to pronounce her name terribly wrong. I apologize for that. Kawenniióhstha. And essentially, one is Mohawk and Iranian, and then the other one is Tamil. And right now, Kawenniióhstha is there in this city in Canada, where she's attempting to be a amazing poet. Like, she wants to be a writer. She's aspiring for that. And Malay is in between, about to start grad school or trying to figure out what she wants to do grad school, because she's an amazing mathematician. But both of them have specific reasons why they're there. For Kawenniióhstha, it is connected to her family, specifically her dad. And then for Malay, it's to further her education, but she's also there with her brother as well as her father. And there is a lot of things going on deep-seated that is pulling them together, and also at the same time ripping them apart from each other, because they have to be able to focus to move forward, and they cannot do that. But can they move forward together? What did I think about this film? So I think This Place was actually pretty good. In terms of the score, the music and the composition for this is so beautiful. Like, there's a scene that takes place in the club. Instead of like just random music, they're using such an emotional, rhythmic thing going on, where you actually get to see both of these individuals start to slowly fall in love and get outside of their comfort zone. The other thing that I do like is, I think, the cinematography and the colors. They use a very specific color tone whenever they're together. It's almost like a merging of blue and maybe yellow or something else. It's always going to end up like violet, purple, or kind of a purplish bluish tint. It's almost, to me, symbolizing them coming together based on their strange situations. I loved Malay's backdrop and her story arc, specifically with her relationship with her brother. I think the actress that plays the role of Malay does a great job of conveying real dedication and loyalty and love and selflessness, specifically when it came to like her relationship with her dad, her relationship with her brother, is very emotionally charged, and I really appreciated it. With Kawenniióhstha, like, it's very interesting. I think that one, I'm gonna say this. I think Devery does a great job in it. I've seen her in a couple other things. I think it's like American Gods and The Lie, and I know she's in Reservation Dogs. But with this, off rip, when you first see her, she seems so innocent, but seems like there's something going on off-putting with her mom, and you kind of like, is she being smothered by her mom? And about the half of the film, like the first half, you kind of get that understanding of what's going on, but then the middle of it is really focused more on Malay, and you don't really get an understanding of what's going on. I would appreciate it with her character if they would have shown like her struggles with her writing, or her thinking back to it. I'm not saying like use the 8 Mile approach and have like writing going on through the screen, or even her reading it back, but I think it would help with trying to understand what's going on with her head, because a lot of it you have to internalize and accept. So a good portion of this, until you get to the third act, you don't really connect with her as much as you really could have. But in the third act, they really do reestablish what is really going on. And I think the thing about that middle half, that's the only issue that I have with the film, because it's such a specific thing. Because in the middle half, that is when both of these young ladies' relationship starts to go into a different gear, and they're met with every challenge in the free world on an emotional level, because their family dynamics, they're forced to actually deal with them. But at the same time, they're growing together, and it's not as though the families are ripping them apart, but it's too much for each individual to really deal with. And it's kind of like, because her arc, not Malay's, because her art, it kind of is like left in limbo. You're kind of left up to figure out. There's an interaction that happens that's so pivotal. And I was kind of like, why didn't they establish this or talk about this? And the conversation doesn't happen. Now, I'm left to assume that maybe it was glossed over because of something that happens in the third act. But I felt like that moment was a very key thing that could have been a make or break of everything, not just the film, but their movie. I'm sorry, their perspective with each other as far as their relationships. How far can they go? In other words. But then I will say that the third act of it, I really did appreciate how they rounded her character out, and what it actually really meant and what it was all about. Also, the thing about it is, with Kawenniióhstha, like, she is mixed with Mohawk, which is indigenous North American native people, and then she's also Iranian. And so when you get to the understanding of what's going on with that, it's very specific. There's a conversation they have, I think, at where were they at? They were at like a club lounge, and I think they were smoking hookah. And there's a real conversation. If you really pay attention to that conversation, it'll give you a lot of good information. It's exposition, but it's really good information to understand both the characters and why they are the way they are. Specifically with Malai, because with Malai, you find out she is Sri Lankan, but she's technically Tamil. And it's a very specific thing that defines her character in that time. Now, I forgot to explain, this takes place in 2011, but they do go and do flashbacks into 1989 and 1990, which are two specific moments in time. And those moments are very key and very pivotal. And I think they do a really good job of fleshing out every character because of these two moments. And also, there's something that happens in the very beginning of the movie. If you pay attention to it, there's an intersection that happens, which is so weird. And I kind of was waiting for it to re-intersect, but they don't necessarily do it. They also leave some stuff at the cutting room floor as far as where these characters are going to go. But I'm fine with that because this kind of movie that normally happens. But I think it is well filmed. Score was great. I think there was some great moments, specifically with the characters. There were moments that I felt like were kind of telegraphed in terms of the writing with the dialogue. But I was kind of like more waiting for them to kind of be like free-flowing. But I think a part of that is the going back and forth and not knowing, and like sometimes they're writing, sometimes they're in different places, and it's kind of like it doesn't feel as natural, which is weird because they have natural chemistry. But all in all, I think it's definitely worth watching. I think it's very important as well, even now, not 2011, but 2022. So let me know what you guys think of this place. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and make sure you pay attention because we're going to be doing a lot more coverage for TIFF 2022. Take care, guys. Peace.